Well, hello. And, we've been having a night here with internet going all wonky. So thank you so much for being out there. My name is Marshall Shore, and just a moment.
Hello, and welcome to today's Happy Hour virtual tour. I am Brenda Holt with the Arizona State Office of AARP. We are the nation's largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to empowering people 50 and older to choose how they live as they age. With a nationwide presence, AARP strengthens communities and advocates for what matters most to more than 100 million Americans 50 plus and their families. We focus on health security, financial stability, and personal fulfillment. AARP also produces the nation's largest circulated publications, the AARP Magazine and the AARP Bulletin. During the months of August and September, we will raise awareness among adults age 50 plus for a critical link between sleep and brain health. Despite knowing the benefits of improved sleep, many older adults risk taking steps to address their sleep issues. AARP encourages people to prioritize their brain health by improving sleep habits for better sleep quality. AARP's resources, including Brain Health Resource Center and Staying Sharp, help consumers to build sleep habits for better brain health. Visit us at www.aarp.com/sleep for tips, tools, and resources. Thank you again for joining us, and now I'll turn it over to Marshall.
Folks, welcome to the show. Get ready to meet your host for the night, Arizona's very own hip historian himself, Marshall Shore.
Well, hello and good evening. Oh my gosh, I am so happy to see you. I hope you're as happy as I am to be here because we have such a fun-filled night. Oh my gosh. Now, I always love to say welcome to you all because, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, it's all good. You can watch past episodes on YouTube. Some of them are also stored on Facebook. You can watch past episodes. So it is all good. Just happy you're here. So my name is Marshall Shore, and I am your host for Arizona History Happy Hour. And you might be wondering, what is today? Well, it's August 15th. And so what that means is, back on this date, back in 1911, President Taft vetoed Arizona and New Mexico statehood. Now, that was because there was a clause that allowed the repeal of judges. So Arizona decided what they would do is they would take that out of the Constitution. And by February 14th of 1912, we became a state. It was then added back in. But that repeal of judges has never been used. So it is also chant at the moon day. Now, that probably should be night because can you really chant at the moon during the day? So this all grows out of, in the Pacific Northwest, there were some fruit growers who had a belief that the moon could affect the sweetness of their fruit. So that way they were chanting, hoping for a fuller, more magnetic moon to really make their produce super sweet. Now, it is also the birthday of Julia Childs. Now, you know her as a chef, an author of cookbooks, TV personality. Even SNL made fun of her. She was a cultural icon, but she also worked for the Office of Strategic Services. Now, that was a predecessor of the CIA, and so she indeed was a spy while she was cooking across the globe, and she kept files on India and China. She was cooking all over the place. It is also No SpongeBob Day. Now, some of you might be going, what? No SpongeBob. So this all grew out of an episode where his friends from Bikini Bottom threw a party and didn't invite him at a secret location, and they partied. And so people have been doing that ever since. I guess, and not inviting SpongeBob to show up. And you know what? He doesn't know there's a party, so he doesn't show up. It is also National Leathercraft Day. So, whether you want to maybe make a wallet, make a belt, you can go to Tandy. You can find all kinds of folks online, locally, who do leathercraft and can custom make you maybe a yoga pillow, maybe something that you could hold your gun with, or your TV remote so you don't lose it. So it's always attached to you wherever you go. Now, it is also National Relaxation Day. And, I think it's a day where you should relax, take a deep breath, and just be centered. And we'll talk about a beverage that could help doing that in just a moment. But we have more to go on for. So what can you expect from tonight? Well, we always have some trivia. We have a little town in Arizona. We have some music history. We have a beverage that may relax you, might excite you, might titillate you. Who knows? And of course, we have a special guest. Now, my name is Marshall, but I also am called the Hip Historian, and I get to have with Arizona history. So you might wonder, what am I doing from 6 to 8 a.m. every morning? You might think, oh, he's probably sleeping in. Oh, no. It's like we are hosting a morning show on WTSMTV. It's a virtual show. We've been having so much fun. Why, today we actually had a leather worker on talking about making leather crafts. And tomorrow we're gonna have some food fun. So you definitely want to check us out. You can see us 6 to 8, or you can also watch it on demand after that. So please check it out and let me know what you think. Also, coming up next week, we are doing a program, my friend Chris out of San Diego, for the Society of Commercial Archaeology, on Voices of an Era is what we're calling it, and is using drag albums from the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and locating LGBTQ spaces. And I actually mentioned a little bit about that in the small town segment coming up in just a bit. Now, we are doing Band Book Week. For that, we are doing a band book reading on September 27th at the Alwyn House. You can find more information out about that on hiphistorian.com. We also just launched, we're doing some tours in September and October. So we are doing a tour with the Arizona Heritage Center out in Papago Park. That's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to get behind the scenes and look at the library. We're also going to hang out at the George Washington Carver Museum and Cultural Center. That is a building that opened up as Segregated High School back in 1926 and holds so much history. And then we're taking a road trip in early October down to Tucson for 7 Cups, a really cool Chinese tea house. And so you can sign up for those. Those are all free events. Now there is limited space, so be sure and sign up. And hopefully I will see you at one of those events. Now, I always love to hear from you, so you can always reach out to me on Facebook at Marshall Shore Hip Historian, Instagram hip_historian, or even email at hello@hiphistorian, and even my website, hiphistorian.com. Because, some of my best ideas that I throw out here have come from you. And so, a beverage. Now, PJ was kind of bummed because he couldn't actually find time to make anything, but oh my gosh, what an adventure I had. So he threw me a note and said, well, you should go to Four Peaks. Now they're in a really cool building in Tempe that is on the Register of Historic Places, which was an old creamery. And they also do haunted tours in October. And so they make Tea Shot, which is a green tea lager. Now it's one of those things that, some say golfing is relaxing. Walking around, beautiful scenery. Some say drinking tea is relaxing. PJ said, he finds it relaxing to drink a 6-pack of Four Peaks beer and call it a night. Well, this is all of those in one. And so Charlie, the brewer who invented this, kept the recipe to himself And so they didn't know quite how to make it until he wrote it down one night and then vanished. He showed up in Japan studying Buddhism, and he has now returned to Arizona. He became a monk over there and is now head of the Buddhist Center right here. And so PJ was like, we need to have him on the show. And I completely agree. A Buddhist brewer. And when I was getting this beer, the guy I was chatting with was like, it's his favorite beer. And they're actually, it used to be for sale everywhere. They are now only going to be doing it in-house. And so I have a growler of this now. And it is really super smooth. It's quite tasty. And then we move on to Little Arizona. So if you've ever been, there is a town that most people think is called Globe, Miami. Or you might say Miami, but it is indeed Miami. It's kind of that classic Western copper boom town. Started off as mining, and mining is still there, but it's trying to do tourism, antiquing, all kinds of things going on. Now, if you get there, it's in Gila County. It's off the 60. It is a population of about a little over 1,500 and was founded back in 1876. Now, this is the old school, which is now a museum talking about all that mining history. And it was designed by Henry Trust, who did a lot of buildings in the Southwest. So it's a really iconic building, as well as the last class left in 1994. So this building that was built in 1923 had quite a long run as a building and school. And now it's still educating folks about the history. You can also take a stop at the church that is down there over on Sullivan Street. And it has been there since 1917. And so it's really beautiful, and go check it out. Now, I have some must-do things when I go to visit. One of them is always checking on the German shoe sign, which dates back from a company founded back in 1924. The shoe store has long closed, but the sign is still there, beautiful, hanging in the breeze and the sun. And then Gallos El Rey has been operating in Miami, since 1938 as a Mexican restaurant. And so it is a must-do stop. It's right almost across the street from the city pool. So that's a lot of fun as well to check out. Now, the little bit of history is in the 50s, there was a drag queen who I thought was just local, but she performed all over the country, Lee Leonard. And he actually wound up taking over. He performed at the Pioneer Bar. He also wound up taking over the liquor license of the Pioneer Bar, and the building still stands in Miami, Arizona. And I think that's really cool. And now I need to get down to Miami again and take some better photos of that building. It is also right down the street from the Beshbegowan Archaeological Park, which is a really cool space. It's about 200 rooms of a prehistoric masonry pueblo, basically right overlooking the Pinnell Creek, and is such a historic site and such a beautiful place. Definitely worth a visit. All right, well, now is a time where you get to hear from someone else other than just me, and you might be shocked. It's actually my co-host from the morning show. Hello, Melissa.
Hello, Marshall. Long time no see.
Indeed. Wait, almost 12 hours.
What? Has it been that long?
Oh my gosh. It is good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thanks for having me on your show. This is exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And so for folks that don't know who Melissa Farley is, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, I haven't done this in a while. Had to introduce myself. So yeah.
12 hours ago?
Other than just saying I'm Melissa Farley. So I host, co-host the morning show on WTSMTV with Marshall Shore in the mornings. I also run my own marketing company called Stronger Today, and I've got clients from Portland, Oregon to Tampa, Florida, so coast to coast, and we help small businesses, nonprofits, creatives, really with bringing their stories to life through marketing. That's one of my passions that I do. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I used to be a corporate journalist for 10 years and then decided that I wanted to enjoy life and quit that. And here I am.
Indeed. And well, and if you know the show, we always do trivia. And
Yes.
so, but our trivia is a little unique here. It is not just like bar trivia where it's like, hey, what's the answer? And then we're done.
Yeah.
So we are going to go through some trivia.
Okay.
Now it's all multiple choice. And so at the end, we're going to go through and tell the stories of the answers.
Cool.
And we're going to learn some about Melissa. We're just going to have a good chat session. It's going to be so much fun. We're also going to take a little bit of a music break right in the middle. And so now you can keep chat. In the chat, you can keep track of your trivia answers. Some folks do it in a notebook, whatever makes you happy, on your arm in chocolate sauce. Enjoy. No harm. However it makes you happy, you do just that.
All right.
All right. So our first question is, which iconic Arizona newspaper has been a staple since 1890 and has played a significant role in the history of Arizona journalism? Was that A, the Tucson Sentinel, B, the Arizona Daily Star, C, the Arizona Republic, or the D, the Prescott Courier? So it's one of those papers that has been around quite a long time and played a huge role in Arizona journalism. All right, moving on to number 2. The Arizona Biltmore is a historic hotel designed by a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. In what year did it open? Was it A, 1929, B, 1919, C, 1949, or D, 1939? So what year do you think the Arizona Biltmore flung its doors open? All right, going on to question 3. Arizona is the home to several prominent film festivals. Which of these is the oldest film festival in the state? Ooh, that's a good one. I know what I think it is, but let's see. Okay, so A, Phoenix Film Festival, B, the Arizona International Film Festival, C, Sedona International Film Festival, or D, the Scottsdale International Film Festival. So it is one of those is the oldest film festival. So which one do you think it is? All right, question 4. The design of the State Farm Stadium in Glendale is inspired by what? Is it A, UFO, B, sand dunes, C, a barrel cactus, or D, a desert rose? All right. Question 5. Which annual electronic dance festival, known for its vibrant and immersive experience, has become one of the largest raves in the country, attracting thousands of attendees each year? Now, I thought I knew the answer for this, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, so is it A, the Electric Daisy Carnival, EDC, B, the CRSSD Festival? Who knows what that even stands for? But I have a feeling we might find out. Maybe we won't. Or C, the Gold Rush Festival? That makes sense for Arizona. D, Decadence, Arizona. So which of those is a immersive dance music festival right here in Arizona that's grown to be huge? All right, question 6. Which Arizona Retreat Center, founded in the 70s by philanthropists Ruth and Dr. Roland Ryder, has become a renowned destination for meditation and holistic wellness, known for its healing vortexes and spiritual workshops? Is it A, the Miraval Arizona Resort and Spa, B, Spirit Quest Retreats, C, Sedona Mago Retreat, or D, Canyon Ranch? Which one of those do you think it is? Question 7. What Arizona attraction is considered to be one of the quirkiest roadside stops in the state, featuring dinosaurs and aliens? Who knew those two go together? All right. A, Tombstone Courthouse. B, The Thing. C, Gammon's Gulch. Or D, Flintstone's Bedrock City. Oh, that, okay. You know, that, I mean, there were, do you know, he was a dinosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So it's one of those. Which one do you think it is? Is a very quirky roadside stop here in Arizona. Question 8. Which legendary actor, known for his roles in Western films, owned a ranch in Arizona and frequently filmed in the state, helping boost his popularity as a filming location? Was that A, Clint Eastwood, B, John Wayne, C, Gary Cooper, or D, Henry Fonda? So which one of those Western actors not only acted, but also owned property here in Arizona? All right, question 9. Which historic cemetery in Arizona is known for being the final resting place of many characters involved in the notorious gunfight at the OK Corral? Is it A, Greenwood Memory Lawn Mortuary and Cemetery, B, Boot Hill Graveyard, C, the Pioneer Cemetery, or D, Mountain View Cemetery? So which one of those is the final resting place of so many scoundrels and other folks? All right. And our last question, question 10. Which Arizona city is known as the sunniest place on earth, holding the record for the world's most sunniest city? Is that A, Phoenix, B, Yuma, C, Mesa, or D, Tucson? All right. While you are locking in your final answers, we are going to do a little bit of an Arizona music break. And so, so coming up on Saturday is National Thrift Shop Day. You might wonder what was up with Arizona music. Well, it's also another shopping day where they don't do this very often, but you can go to the East Valley Record Show. And I think I may actually be able to find time to go to this one. It should be really cool. My friend Johnny D will be there with so much music history. And maybe you can find the Dyke and the Blazers, because less than a month ago, they were recording at Audio Recorders. Now, this was a location right here in Phoenix that played birth of so many musicians, styles of music. And so Dyke and the Blazers were recording their little known track, And but you might know them better for Funky Broadway. So this actually, they have their equipment now at the Musical Instrument Museum, which is a really cool space. If you haven't been, well worth going. And so now let's talk about some answers. All right. So question 1, in which iconic newspaper in Arizona has been a staple since 1890 and has played such a role in Arizona journalism? And that is the Arizona Republic. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
So indeed.
Yeah. So yes. So I actually didn't intend to be a journalist. I called it my accidental career. I graduated from ASU in 2008, which I don't know if you remember, there was such just downturn of the economy. Nobody was getting jobs. And I remember crying as I had just paid off my degree, basically submitting to become someone's nanny because I just couldn't find work anywhere else. And I ended up nannying for 2 families. And one of them was, at the time, she wasn't the publisher. She was an editor at the Arizona Republic. And they ended up having an opening for a calendar girl. That was a real position that they had, a calendar girl at the Arizona Republic. And they asked me to just fill in temporarily. The manager there loved me and basically went to the woman that I nannied for and was like, we love her. Can we keep her? Obviously she can't nanny for you still, but we really want her here. And then that's why I say that turned into an accidental career, because I stayed there 10 years and I kept getting promoted and moved up to like managing eventually 32 properties under the USA Today network.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was the manager of digital operations, and I had Guam under me, which was weird. The time zone thing was very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Arizona Republic honestly was so much fun, because that's when I got to do the movies show with Bill Goody Kuntz and talk about movie reviews. Yeah, I got to interview Mario Lopez and introduce Martha Stewart on stage, and like that was really where I kind of fell in love with hosting and interviewing, and it was good times. It was really good times.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So question 2, the Arizona Biltmore is historic hotel designed by a protege of Frank Lloyd Wright. In what year did that beautiful building open?
That was 1929. Yeah. And I love the Biltmore. So the Biltmore is actually where we did a holiday show of the Arizona Storytellers Project. Do you remember the Arizona Storytellers Project?
Indeed. I told at least once, if not twice.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had done multiple, but I helped Megan Finnerty essentially get that up off the ground. And I was doing like the grunt work, like essentially, but it was like her and I really just seeing this vision come to fruition. And that was one of our biggest events that we did, was at the Arizona Biltmore for Christmas time. And it was just such a special experience. And I go back and celebrate things at the Arizona Biltmore all the time, just because it has such great sentimentality for me.
And such a beautiful building.
Yes.
I mean, I love when they decorate for Christmas, and it's just so subtle. I mean,
well, that was the first time I saw it, was at Christmas when we did the event, because I was a poor, struggling journalist. So I walk into the Biltmore at Christmas time to do this event, and I'm like, wow, like blew me away. Yeah.
Indeed. And it's such a landmark. I mean, the fact that you can still stay there, you can go see the grounds, and you can tell when it opened. You'll notice a big tower. When you go visit, if you look at that tower, there is a searchlight on top of it.
Yeah.
And that's because when it opened up, it was Prohibition.
Yep.
And so the gentleman who would be staying there would want a drink. And so they had a gentleman's lounge that has stained glass ceiling. And so if the cops would ever be seen, because it was way out in the middle of nowhere back in 29, they would shine that spotlight down into the lounge. And so the gentleman knew to get rid of their drinks and back to their rooms.
What a great system, right? I love that so much.
And I love they kept that. I mean, through all the renovations, everything else, that searchlight is still there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. I love the history there. It's crazy to think too that there was nothing around. I mean, I know it's been a long time, but yeah, there was literally nothing around. Like that's wild. Yeah.
A lot of that, when you go look around at the housing, a lot of it's like late 50s. So there wasn't really anything there.
That's true.
For almost 30 years.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah.
So, and it's still pumping. I mean, it's had all kinds of tragedy to stay open, but it still is. And kind of I think it's one of those beautiful spots in Arizona.
I do too. I would agree with that. Yeah.
All right. So question 3, Arizona is home to several prominent film festivals. Which one is the oldest film festival in the state?
The Arizona International Film Festival, which I actually had to look that one up. Did you know about this?
No,
one?
I would have said Phoenix Film Festival.
I know, me too. Yeah, I would have as well. But this one actually got its legs in Tucson and was the first, and as in the oldest festival. But Phoenix Film Festival, actually, and Sedona Film Festival really grew to be like the top tier
Right.
festivals here in Arizona. And in one of my many hats that I wear at Phoenix Film Festival, I used to lead their some of their film programming and education programming, where we do panels like once a month. And then I actually had my feature film screen at the Phoenix Film Festival a couple of years ago, called Moving Ashley. Yeah, it was my directorial debut. And then now I'm on the board of the Worldwide Women's Film Festival. And so, yeah, I help run that. And so film festivals have just been such a big part of my life, a big part of how I have roots in community here. And I think one of the things that I love about all the film festivals I work with is there's so much passion. There's so many like weird, nerdy, fabulous people, and they're really welcoming, you know, like it's not like some of the other really competitive markets. Like you can really find a cool vibe at a lot of the festivals here. So definitely come out, like go check out festivals. If you're, you know, looking for something to do on a weekend and there's a festival going on, go watch some films, go to one of the mixers. You'll meet really cool people.
Well, it's also a great way to see films that you're not going to see any other way. I mean, they're smaller films, so they're not going to show up at Harkins. And so that doesn't make them any less important. In some cases, I think they're more important just because they typically have a message behind them. You can really tell the craft as it's going into it.
Yeah, and we have a mutual friend, Danita, who does a night of misfit films. It's been at the Allwyn House the last several times. And those films, she literally made that film festival because it's all the films that like typically get rejected from other film festivals because they're not, you know, they're not normal. And so, and it is some of the most fun I have watching shorts and independent films, hands down, every year. Like, I just think those are such a blast to see, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there are movies I've seen there that I still talk about.
I know. Yeah, me too.
Kind of like, how do I get a bootleg copy of this movie? Because, oh my God, I can't describe it to people. It was just so shocking in so many ways.
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's like one of those things where like you leave and you're like, what did I just watch? And then you're like thinking about it, you know, 2 days later, and you're like, I think I liked it. Like, you know. Yeah.
So check out some of those films. All right. Question 4. The design of the State Farm Stadium in Glendale was inspired by what?
A barrel cactus. I feel like everyone really knows and thinks it's a UFO, though. Like, that's the real answer that they just don't want to give. But so I grew up in Glendale. I am an Arizona native. I have been raised here my entire life. I grew up basically at the cross streets of 59th and Thunderbird since I was very little. Went to preschool, kindergarten, grade school, high school, all right there in that area. And then when I bought my very first house, I bought it basically across the way from when they were building this stadium. Yeah, and it was such a fun time to be a part of that emerging community and kind of see all of the build up. They were also building that spring training stadium that's over there, and Westgate was really coming into its own. And so it was like a kind of a hopping place to be. I now live in Chandler on the opposite side of the
I'm gonna say that's like the other end of the spectrum, because it's like, especially now with the new Mattel part going in out there.
Yeah. I honestly, most of my family still all lives on the west side, and I've been working on my husband slowly to try to migrate back over to the west. I will say it's like East Valley has great restaurants. Like we're in such a great Asian fusion district in Chandler. It's hard to find better food than where we're at. So that's always one of his most difficult things to let go of about going to Glendale.
But Phoenix now has the International District, which I'm hoping will bring some really cool global cuisine.
Yeah.
I mean, as I shared, it's like, I mean, we have to go to Latha at some point, which is Heritage Square. And so that's Pan-African. It was so good, but you'll find out more about that tomorrow. If you watch the morning show on Friday, you'll find out all about that.
Oh boy, I can't wait. Actually, it looks really tasty. I am kind of excited. Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. So totally. I hope. We shall see. All right. Question 5. Which annual electronic dance music festival known for its vibrant, immersive experience has become one of the largest raves in the country, attracting thousands of attendees.
Decadence, Arizona. Have you been to Decadence, Marshall?
I have not. I mean, I have friends that have been to EDC. I'd never heard of Decadence, so I was intrigued by this one.
Yeah, Gold Rush is really popular too. That is an Arizona one as well. Decadence is gosh, they have so much costuming and pageantry and thematic elements that I think you would really appreciate. But for me, a lot of people don't know this about me because it was so far in my past, it feels like another lifetime ago. My ex-husband was a rave DJ, and he actually pretty big. He used to tour, we went to Spain. They flew him out to play in Spain, and we went to Vegas. But I was so sheltered. I was such like a sheltered child. And so, being with him and going out to these raves, I loved the desert raves. And that was some of the first times that I actually got to experience the Arizona desert and watch like a sunrise in the desert. And that was when I really started appreciating the beauty of living in a desert. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just like something finally took hold, and I was able to just really soak up like how gorgeous this desert landscape is that we live in. And so, I didn't really keep the whole rave culture after the marriage, but I kept the being in love with the desert and going out and spending time out there. So, yeah.
And now, I mean, there's so much more. I mean, you've got Saguaro Man. I know I just saw that Arcosane is getting ready for another forum.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't gone to that one, but I have gone to Arcosante and done just like we shot some really beautiful star photos out there. And then we stayed at the Sky Loft that they have.
Every time I try to book it, it's always booked, but someday I will get there.
No. Forewarning on the shower, it like leaks. So, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
I have no doubt. I've seen the room and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to stay here. So someday I will.
It's a really, really cool experience. And I can't remember when we went, but there have been people that have said if you book it in the hotter months, it actually gets quite warm. So if you tend to get warm, you might want to aim for like one of the cooler months just in case. So
understandable.
Yeah.
All right. Question 6. Which Arizona Retreat Center was founded back in the 70s by Ruth and Dr. Roland Ryder and has now become renowned as for meditation and holistic wellness, with Sedona being known for its healing vortexes and spiritual workshops?
It is the Sedona Mago Retreat. And so Sedona has a really fascinating history to me, with kind of the old film history, and then it really turned into a tourist trap. But I took, when I quit journalism in 2019, I took 3 years off. I know that sounds crazy to most people. I didn't intend to take 3 years off. I intended to take 6 months off, turn into 3 years. But I called it my year of the hermit. And so basically what I did was I really spent so much time removing like all of this exterior stuff out of my life and focusing on who I was and what my identity was without all of those external pressures. And a big part of that for me was taking drives up to Sedona, not to do the tourist stuff, but to just be out in nature, do the hikes, and I started a meditation practice out there. So that place has become really special to me. I don't typically go actually with other people, like in big groups or anything. I just go and have alone time out there. And I do think there's something special about just the red rocks and kind of being in that atmosphere. So it's a special place to me. And it is hard that it's so crowded. It makes it challenging, but if you go during the week, like during off seasons, you can find really lovely places. So.
Right. I would say it all comes down to just when do you want to go when everyone else is there, or finding offbeat times to go.
Well, and I tell you what, like you talked about the Skyloft at Arcosante, I have been trying to get a dinner reservation at Mariposa in Sedona for like ever. I can't seem to swing it for whenever I'm there. So maybe the stars will align and you'll get a Skyloft and I'll get Mariposa.
I might be able to help in that.
Really?
So yeah,
Okay.
we'll chat offline about that. So
Okay. Yeah, I would love that.
all right. And then let's see, question 7. Which Arizona attraction is going to be one of the quirkiest roadside stops in the state? And it features dinosaurs and aliens.
Yeah, the thing. Have you been here, Marshall?
I love the thing. I liked it better before the new renovations where they bring in the whole dinosaur versus aliens.
I didn't go before the new renovations.
It was $1 and some of the attractions were still there, but they were
Okay.
different things. It's
Okay.
like it was someone else's car, I think. And the thing was very prominent, and now it's kind of off in the corner.
It is off in the corner. I
So
know.
when I was there, I had to go look for it, and I was like, I came to see the thing.
Yeah. So I have been ever so slowly. It'll be like the last thing I do before I die. I'm writing a novel, but it's very much about the West and has UFOs and kind of that our whole culture around, UFOs. And so I am drawn to anything like this, like these roadside stops and attractions. If you have a wooden painted green UFO out front, I'm going to stop. Like these are such a big part of my, I don't know, just of my joy. And I feel like I want to go on a road trip along the UFO highway at some point. Like I'm trying to talk Pat into doing that too. I think that would be a blast, but I couldn't even get him to go inside this. I went, he stayed in the car and I went by myself.
I would have taken a nap in there. I would have tortured him if he's not willing to go. It's like, come on. I mean, it's such classic Arizona. I mean, the fact that it was like Wall Drug in South Dakota. It's like you would see signs for hundreds of miles. How close you're getting to the thing. I mean, it was all about the buildup. It's such an icon in Arizona.
And that's exactly what it was. It was like they had all the billboards, as you got closer.
Yeah.
And we didn't stop on the way there. We stopped on the way back. So I was like even more like I had to wait through the whole trip to hit it on the way back. So I was just really amped up and excited for it. And it didn't disappoint. I liked it.
I mean, I do like it. And so actually you stick around. So I'll keep you on actually until the end. I normally we say goodbye, but we actually talk about in a little segment, we have some UFO history.
Ooh,
or maybe
okay.
not. So yeah, no, I mean, I like the thing. It's got so much Arizona history in it because Homer Tate is the man who made the thing. I mean, he is so collectible now as just a thing. He did like the iconic Barnum and Bailey mermaid.
I know it's fantastic. And I love that history and that lore. And so I actually filmed a movie in Kingman, Arizona. I was there for a month and shooting a film there. And I went adventuring by myself because they have lots of weird kitschy things in and around Kingman and UFO culture as well. But then I kind of got scared going off by myself. So then I was like, I had to like find castmates to like come with me to this weird thing, please.
Well, I'm actually up there in October doing their Route 66 festival. So if you want to come up with me.
Yeah, let me know when you're doing that.
Okay, yeah, no, I definitely will. So.
Okay, cool. Yay.
All right, question 8. Which legendary actor known for his many roles in Western films owned a ranch in Arizona and frequently filmed right here in this state, helping boost the popularity of so many locations where those films were shot?
John Wayne. Yeah. Did you know that?
I did. And so he actually had 2 ranches.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
One in Stanfield, which is mainly cotton. The other one was out near Eager, and so that was cattle.
Yeah, I knew about the cattle one. I don't think I knew about the cotton one. That's interesting.
And so he was in partnership with the guy at the cotton field next door because he never had time to be there. So he told the guy, if you can keep the average above a certain rate, you'll get a new Cadillac every year. And Lewis always got himself a brand new Cadillac every year.
Good for him. That's a great deal. I love that. Yeah. So this one I just was thinking about you know, because other than doing film festivals, I was also an actor for 15 years. And, you know, when I was thinking about the show, I was like, what are people know, like kind of the current ones, like Emma Stone, you know, and people that have come recently from Arizona, Steven Spielberg. But I was just curious about some of the older kind of powerhouses that were invested in Arizona, and I didn't know about John Wayne, so that was kind of cool to learn about
Yeah,
that.
and I love that he was so invested in Arizona that he didn't just love it for its beauty, but also economically. I mean, the fact that he was 2 of the 5 C's, cattle and cotton.
Well, I know, because that's the hard part is a lot of people get their start in Arizona and then they completely forget about us, you know, and that's always heartbreaking because it's like you want somebody so badly to have that level of success and then help out, you know, not just economically, but the film industry here, because we've sort of struggled to kind of come up to par. Although, you know, we've got tax credits now, and we've got kind of some new developments that are helping with this progress. But yeah, it's just nice to see that he was doing that very early on. That was cool.
And how much he loved Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, question 9. Which historic cemetery in Arizona is known for being the final resting place of so many characters from that notorious gunfight at the OK Corral?
The Boot Hill Graveyard. Yeah. So this is another affinity of mine. I love visiting graveyards. I think it is spectacular. I do it everywhere I travel.
How do I not
try to
know
go visit
this?
a
I mean, because, you know, it's like, okay, never mind. We have to talk about there. So,
yeah, no, it's such a, so I won't make it super serious, and it's not meant to be super serious, but I am writing another book that will get published next year. And it's about death, but it's about kind of being able to talk about death in a way that most of us aren't super comfortable with. And so part of my thing is I've always thought about mortality. I've been obsessed about, you know, kind of death and what that means for us. And I'm not scared by it. And so visiting graveyards is just very interesting to me and intriguing. And so this one was one of the first ones that I went to in Arizona. That I thought was just so cool. And I spent probably way more time there than the people I was with wished that I had. But
well, you know, I used to be on the board of the Pioneer Cemetery just down from the Capitol.
I do know you did. I know you've done cemetery events.
So we'll have all kinds of things to talk about.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. And question 10. Which Arizona city is known as the sunniest place on Earth, holding the world record for the sunniest city?
Yuma. It is Yuma. Yeah. And I picked this one because as an Arizona girl, I actually really, really, really love rain. Like, I just get so giddy and excited about rain. But everywhere I go, I bring sunshine. Even when I went to Portland for 7 days, it did not rain. When I went to Seattle, it only rained once. Like, I just can't get rain anywhere I go. So my husband calls me the sunshine girl. So when I saw this about the sunniest place on Earth, I was like, well, that feels like that's applicable to me. I am the sunniest girl on Earth, and I live in the state of Yuma. So there you go.
And it's a really cool place. I mean, I love how they've been, the last few years, they've been really kind of redoing the downtown. There's now some arts down there. So some really cool stuff happening.
They've revitalized a lot. Yeah. I actually have a really good friend, Crystal, who's a teacher in Yuma. She just won Teacher of the Year there in Yuma.
Cool.
Yeah. So proud of her. So yeah, no, it's changed a lot since, you know, when you used to like just stop in Yuma to go to the bathroom and then continue on to California. But
right,
you know, it's kind of its own little metropolis now. So
very much so.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I always love to end asking folks how they did, because, you know, but I always like to say it's not necessarily about just how many you got right or wrong, but look at the stories you've got. And I think that's really the magic of this, is even if you didn't know those answers, now you have a story for them. So next time you're at a cocktail party or you're sitting around drinking your tea shot beer, with some friends. So, all right. So from the vault, I always like to talk about something you might drive by daily and not know much about it. And so I'm actually working on a program for the Arizona Humanities that I'm calling Arizona's Cosmic Connection. So looking at a variety of locations around Arizona that have cosmic connections, whether it's Lowell Observatory, Biosphere 2. So kind of taking a little liberties with that. But, you know, there's always the Dreamy Draw Dam. And so Dreamy Draw got its name because originally it was mercury mines, and the haze would cause the miners as they walked around to be in a haze, hence the name Dreamy Draw. And so, but if you go up there, there is a dam there at North Mountain, and there's stories about how it is there because of a supposed UFO crash back in the late 40s.
No way.
And so it is supposedly there. That's one of the spots where it hit. And so it was built to either, or maybe both, help manage water from flooding the city, as well as maybe covering up some UFO treasures that were left behind.
Ooh, I have to go visit that now. That's cool.
So that's been a story around for quite a while. That's why that dam was built.
Okay.
So
that's interesting.
And that's just one of many. I mean, there are a couple other UFO sites around Arizona, but we can chat.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, then I'm just going to keep you until the end of the show. So there you go. So we're almost there. We're in the home stretch. So I always like to say, you know, if you're watching on Facebook, I always love to say you should definitely share it, because look how much fun we're having with Arizona history. Oh my gosh. And I always love to hear from you. So please, if you have stories, questions, suggestions, comments, please give me a shout out. I love to hear from you all. And our next episode, I'm so excited. I've been driving by this place forever, and it is the Irish Cultural Center.
Ooh.
And so they're going to be our guest on in September on the third Thursday. And we're going to get a chance to talk also about the library that's there. I didn't know there was more than I just thought it was an event space. It's also a really cool educational space.
I was like, it's in the title, Marshall McLellan Library.
But every time I go there, it's like, oh, you know, and I love the fact that I got to go wander the library. They've got some really cool documents.
Yeah.
So some really cool genealogical resources. So yeah, it's going to be a very fun time. And so you'll definitely want to tune in for that as well. And so just kind of in parting, you know, I love to say, I want to give a shout out to Chris and Cole, who did that great video at the very beginning, as well as PJ, who keeps me so up to date on what's going on with Arizona beverages. It was such a fun adventure. And so as we say goodnight, you know, we're hitting a kind of that weather where I know my sons are going nuts. So we're going to visit somebody who could have been a sponsor. All right, everybody, have a great night.
When hay fever pollen invades your sinuses, brings runny nose, watery eyes, take Dristan. Dristan's like sending your sinuses to Arizona. Yes, Dristan's like sending your sinuses to Arizona. That is, Dristan helps you breathe free and easy, as if you were far away from pollen or allergy irritation. Yes, Dristan's like sending your sinuses to Arizona. Helps dry, runny nose, itchy, watery eyes. You see, Dristan tablets shrink swollen, congested nasal and sinus passages which cause runny nose and watery eyes. So you breathe free and easy fast. So when pollen invades your sinuses, causing hay fever miseries, don't wish you could be in sunny, dry Arizona. Just remember, Dristan's like sending your sinuses to Arizona. Get Dristan decongestant tablets.